Hello, Sam here. How are we all doing? As you can see, another fancy shirt is back. Hope you all like it. Right, I just wanted to jump on here and cover something that I don't feel I cover enough and quite do it justice. And that's how I felt at the beginning of the OCD journey. Okay, now I don't like comparing journeys, but I would say I very, very difficult, challenging personal journey for me. The biggest challenge that I've faced so far in my life and probably will ever be. So I just wanted to, cover it in more detail and stuff that you can relate to. So things that happened to me, sensations, thoughts, just experiences, moments in my life that you can probably relate to. And I'll delve into some more detail of how it affected me and how I overcame them as well. But yeah, I just thought like I want to cover this in more detail. So round about, I'd say 2018, summer of 2018 was my biggest breakdown, you could say. Mental breakdown, crying all the time, lots of intrusive thoughts, many unwanted times, and I'm just going into panic all the time. I'm riddled with chronic guilt, chronic shame, everything I did. From the minute I woke up in the morning to the minute I went to sleep at night, it was guilt, shame, anxiety, panic attacks, feelings we know all too well. So let me give you some examples of me along my journey. So, panic attacks at work. Now, people in the UK, I don't know if there's shops abroad, but I used to work in a bargain store called B&M. I don't know if people know. You would know if you're in the UK. Just a part-time job. I was about 17, 18 at this time. Just a bit of pocket money after school whilst I was at college. And that is when the suffering started to become chronic and severe. Now, from when I look back now, lots of running to the bathroom, crying my eyes out. And you think you're dealing with the general public in that kind of job. You're dealing with customers. And I can't concentrate, I can't focus. I've got the guilt and the anxiety pumped up 24/7, pumping away in the background. Just couldn't focus. Bearing in mind at this point, I didn't even know what OCD was. So I knew slightly about intrusive thoughts, but I really didn't have a clue how OCD operated, what was going on, what these intrusive thoughts were. It was just all very scary time for me. So that's my memory from there. Obviously that affected my socialising, completely defeated my confidence. My confidence was at an all-time low. It was on the floor. Couldn't feel like I could go and have a conversation with someone or start a conversation, because what as if they knew this? If only they knew. What as if they thought about me? What as if I said this? What as if I said a thought out loud? What as if I said a real event, false memory out loud, and that's it? They judge me and hate me, blah, blah, blah. All these things that us OCD sufferers, the rabbit hole that we go down. So that was very tough. Like I said, that was when I was about 17, 18, so a very young OCD sufferer. Well, early on in my journey, I was very sort of young and to sort of come to Robert and follow this page. I mean, I'm 22 now, so this was about 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah. Like I said, that I was unable to function at the basic level. Now, I wasn't unable to function at all because I was getting out of bed. I was really forcing myself to get out of bed. And other than that, my life was okay. Like I had a really loving girlfriend, really loving parents, really loving family. So I was lucky in that respect. But with OCD, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, hit me like a steam train. I really didn't know what had hit me. And like I said, at the basic level, meaning that trying to get a job was difficult. I dropped out of my college studies. Actually, I was studying accountancy, and I had to drop out when I got to the final exams because my mind was just elsewhere. Mine was racing, intrusive thoughts, chronic guilt. I just couldn't focus. When I went home, I was so consumed in my own head and ruminating 24/7. I didn't have the energy. I didn't feel like I had the time. I certainly didn't have the focus or the concentration to sit down and read a book and write down things I would need to pass my exam. So that affected my life in that way. Floods of tears I've got wrote down. Now, I was crying a lot. Now I wouldn't say I'm a crier, but when that first hit me, when OCD first, like I said, hit me like a ton of bricks, I was a very emotional person, just crying all the time and reading stories how people are suffering, and then just crying, getting really upset, seeing other people living a great life and going out enjoying themselves, and I'm now just stuck at home in my own head, crying, crying to my fiance a lot. I'm crying to my dad, and yeah, just go breaking down and just, I can't do this anymore. Really, really low. And like I said, I don't really cover it that much, but I don't feel like I do it enough justice. But it was a very, very low point, very dark point in my life. But yeah, it just gives you a lot of hope considering where I am today. So a lot of crying, a lot of emotion, a lot of sadness. All right, another thing that it attributes to unable to function at the basic level, I had the overwhelming panic. I remember being at work when I got another job and having to run out, or just pretending I had to go take a phone call whilst I went and took a breather, because the panic was so strong. I couldn't sit down and write an email. I couldn't take a phone call from a customer because I was just in utter despair, just panicking and like I said, crying, and I had to just take a breather. I couldn't focus one bit. I had to go and call my partner a lot and just say, look, I've got this thought, or mostly this latched to this memory, latched to this event in the past. I can't possibly live with myself. I got to confess. You got to reassure me. You got to tell me everything's okay. Everyone's going to be all right. Yeah, just things like that. That overwhelming panic just completely took me off my feet. I remember one point, I came back from a football match, and I just felt so bad the whole time. Just felt terrible. And I came home and I just laid on the bed and just cuddled my fiance and just started crying, just screaming and like rolling around and meltdown on the floor. Really, really difficult times. Like, people watching this now wouldn't be able to believe it. People who are my friends and don't know I have OCD or don't know much about OCD just wouldn't believe I was like that. But behind closed doors, it was just really, really bad. Like I said, lying on the floor, lying on the bed, cuddling, and yeah, really, really upset. Very difficult times. All right, now, my next point is the amount of time that hours upon hours, the days upon days, the months upon months, weeks upon weeks, however you want to go, of confessing, seeking reassurance, craving reassurance, like a drug, Googling, just anything for that temporary relief, anything, just an escape from my own mind. Wow, really, really difficult. Hours doing that. If I give an example, if I talk about my first holiday in Lanzarote, all right, so me and my girlfriend, about 18 at the time, we're going on our first holiday. Now I'm thinking I should be looking forward to this, but I was really, really struggling at the time, very severe, chronic. And we spent the whole time, it was just going back to the room and me crying, confessing, asking for reassurance. Is this okay? Do you get these thoughts? I had this thought during intimacy. I had this thought during an unwanted time. Do you get these thoughts? Just things like that, and just constantly trying to rid of a feeling, trying to seek reassurance and just make sure everything's okay. But yeah, it was just absolutely exhausting. It just overtook the holiday. Even when I'm talking now, I didn't know what OCD was back then. So you can see what the utter terror that I felt. I was suffering with things like POCD, harm OCD, hit and run OCD, driving OCD, guilt-related themes that I struggled with. And I just felt so alone, so isolated, because I felt like no one could relate to me. So yeah, that holiday was just, all that was just an OCD holiday. Just so consumed in my head. Like I said, all the things that we know, the confession, reassurance, the stuff that I've already spoken about. All right, I had a boatload of physical symptoms, sweating, lots of sweating, racing heart, loss of appetite. That was difficult. So going out for a nice meal and then I couldn't eat it, or if I did, I'd be sick. Things I just don't mention now because I don't really think about that now. But when I look back, say if I go to a restaurant where I couldn't eat, or I tried to eat and I was sick, I'm just thinking, fuck me, I was really, really stuck. Or if I see a photo of me at a restaurant with me thumbs up, but I knew deep down I was really stuck. And I had no sense of enjoyment. I had, like I said, loss of appetite. I just felt like I couldn't enjoy myself. Just looking back now, it is pretty eye-opening and thinking, wow, I just can't believe that. Stomach issues, sprinting off to the toilet, stomach pain, stomach cramps, body aches, affected exercise and putting on weight and stress eating, all these other things that lead from the physical symptoms and just trying to get that relief. So like stress eating, I was suffering bad. So last thing I want to do is think about eating some lettuce or some nice healthy eating. I just wanted to have a KFC, wanted to have a McDonald's, wanted to go and have a few beers and try and escape and try and run from my own mind. All right, like I said, sprinting off to the toilet a lot, and that was affecting a lot of things. So as soon as I get on the coach, I'd have to run to the toilet because I was going to need a toilet and not be able to go. All these things that anxiety and OCD can mimic. All right. I was utterly consumed by my ability to focus on day-to-day activities. So anything that took the slightest bit of thinking, slightest bit of effort, that was it. I felt like I couldn't do it. It took too much for me. I can't do that. I got to sit down and rest. I got to sit down and watch Netflix. Got to scroll on my phone. Got to watch porn. All these comfort traps that we fall in. Got to play video games. Got to gamble. Got to drink. Like I've already said, just all these comfort traps that we fall in when we are suffering. All right, now just an example there, like loading the dishwasher or putting the clothes out after washing, or, simple basic tasks that people do, doing the shopping, cooking tea, taking the dog for a walk, just things like that felt like an absolute mountain to climb. And that's how difficult it can feel. And it just felt like, God, how can I sit down and concentrate on an exam? How can I focus on a job interview when I can't even do basic things like that? I was that consumed by OCD and the struggle. Right, I hope you I'm not doing this for sympathy, anything like that. I just want you to relate to how difficult it is. Baxter, you okay? So my dog's making a funny noise. He just wants to go out. All right, boy? Yeah, he's all good. He's staring at me now. I wanted to sort of you can relate to, and I wanted to try and do it justice. It's not for like, oh my God, look how bad I was. I was the worst ever. It's showing how. Sorry about this. Mid video, my dog's gonna have to go outside, I think. Otherwise, he's gonna bark in a minute, and you won't be able to hear me talk at all. So I'll leave the door open for him. Right, sorry about that. Last time my stand fell down, and that caused a very loud noise mid-video, so there's always a distraction going on. Right, so I'll just talk about this is trying to do justice of the suffering that I went through. All right, so the next point, it robbed me of any enjoyment out of life. So it latched onto things that I loved, absolutely enjoyed, hobbies, interests, socialising. So I was a very confident person until OCD hit me, and like I said, my confidence was on the floor. Felt like the ability to have to start a conversation with anyone, couldn't do that. If only they knew, blah blah blah. All right, so stuff that it latched onto, so hobbies, so unwanted thoughts at football matches, intrusive unwanted thoughts about loved ones, friends, really latching onto things that's going to up the guilt. And there's no limit of OCD, there's no boundaries, okay? So it's not like we go, oh, I'll let you off there. It's going to latch to anything. It's going to try and get you on anything that you're scared of, anything that is going to take your attention away, anything that's going to keep you in the rumination and the chronic guilt and shame cycle is going to latch onto. All right, this is why it's so important to work on our beliefs and our perspectives. All right, exercising. I was playing cricket a lot, and then it just overtook that. Felt like I couldn't even have the energy to play cricket, or I couldn't play with these thoughts, and like I keep saying, if only they knew, that kept coming into it, and I don't deserve this, don't deserve any compliment. All right, so it really got onto anything that I sort of took pride in or valued. It really went after that, and this is why the guys on the channel talk about values, and we've got to be careful with that with OCD, because OCD is going to go for that. It's going to target that like a heat-seeking missile. All right. Another part of my journey or how difficult it was jumping from therapist to therapist, forum to forum, Instagram page to Instagram page, looking for that key, looking for that relief, looking for the answer that would solve me from all my troubles. So for example, when I was suffering like real event or false memories, I was looking for someone with the exact same thing or the exact same thought at this time, and just trying to relate to their story, or trying to find one more statement or one more Twitter post, and that was it. I was going to read that and be cured. Okay, I was on the hunt for that. I was searching for that, and that just, yeah, this was when I was so early on, so I didn't know what I was looking for. I just wanted any bit of relief. I was trying to get onto anything, any bit of advice, any bit of wording that would cure me. And like I said, I just wanted that quick overnight fix. All right. Another part is real event false memory OCD got so bad. I was utterly consumed by it that I thought the only way out, I was that convinced, I thought the only way out of relief and to be let off the hook was to hand myself into the police or confess everything, confess to loved ones, confess to family, confess to friends. I thought that was the only way out. I was that consumed by real event, false memory OCD, harm OCD, POCD. I remember driving OCD. Or was I a bit close to that pedestrian? Was I a bit close to that cyclist? And then go, oh, no, I don't know. I've got to go and speak to the police and go, are you sure it was okay? Is there any CCTV footage? You can see that. Make sure I wasn't too close. Just the things I'm sure that you can relate to as you're watching this video. But I thought that was the only way out. I thought that was the only way of getting myself off the hook. All right, so very, very difficult. And this consumed all day. So the minute I woke up from the minute I went to bed. All right, very challenging, very difficult part of the journey. All right. To avoid family gatherings a lot. Due to the shame, due to the guilt, if only they knew. POCD triggers of avoiding family members, avoiding parties, things like that, and just making up excuses. No, I can't go, feel too tired, feel run down, or I'm doing this, doing that, I can't go. It's really sad when I look back now because I missed out on a lot of stuff, missed out on seeing family. But that's how, that's the grip OCD had on me. I was very, very strongly latched there, very firmly latched. Okay, very sad, but it's why I'm doing these videos today. All right, why I want to give help. I want to inspire people suffering with OCD, people my age. You know, how it can just hit you like a ton of bricks. I can fully understand that. I've been in your shoes. It can take the most confident person up here, no matter how successful you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how good at football you are, no matter how confident you are, and it can suddenly go boom. Have some of that and just completely leave you going down a spiral, hitting rock bottom, and just feeling utterly hopeless and there's no way out. All right, so I want to provide that inspiration that there is so much hope. You really can get better. Okay, if you are interested in the services that we provide at OCD Recovery, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. One-to-one services, webinars. Going into the WhatsApp groups, just seeing the OCD community, very, very helpful. Watching free content on here, very helpful YouTube videos. So yeah, I hope that's done its justice. Don't want to go on too long, but yeah, I can do another video on this because I could go on all night. I could speak all night about the suffering that I went through, the struggle that I went through, all these different things. Because I can't just do it in a 20-minute video and talk about my suffering because it was very, very challenging. So if you do like the video, please leave a like. Any questions for me? My previous video, I answered a question in the comments, which I very enjoyed doing. I thought that was quite interactive. So if you've got any specific questions for me, please leave a comment and I'll happily answer. Just feel free to leave a comment about anything. You're more than welcome to. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Anyway, you take care. There is so much hope and you have absolutely got this. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the shirt, by the way. Bye-bye.